Welcome to New Jersey Motorsports Park for the final round of the 2024 season. Junior Cup Race 1 is just around the corner, and while Greg and Jason will be joining us shortly, a champion has been crowned, and attention must be paid as he is the last champion for the Junior Cup class. He's Matthew Chapin, and he is here with me now. Matthew, how has the last month been since you clinched the championship?
Honestly, it's been pretty relaxing knowing that I can go into the last round, kind of just do my thing, and not really have to worry about put it, on top of the box. But no, I mean, I'm still going to come out here and do the same thing, but it's felt really good.
Let's get to know you a little bit. How old are you? Where are you from? How did you get introduced to motorcycle racing?
So I'm 16. I'm from Damascus, Maryland. And I started out on a PW50 racing motocross, and then eventually when I was like 10 or 11, I switched over and did New Jersey Mini GP, and then kind of worked my way up, got on the big track. I club raced last year, and then this year, this is my first like full MotoAmerica season, and it's going really well.
You said you're just 16 years old. What does school look like for you?
I still go to public school, so a lot of the kids do online school, but I still like seeing all my friends every day, so I still go to public school, but I miss a day here and there, but it's not bad. I love it. Do
you play any other sports, or what do your classmates kind of think of the fact that you're a professional racer?
Honestly, I don't really tell that many people about it, but some of my teachers think it's really cool because we have to email them to get out of school. And I play lacrosse for the high school, so I mean, I used to play football growing up my whole life, and then kind of worked my way to lacrosse, and then kind of overlaps with racing a little bit, but it's not too bad.
Well, best of luck with that and in all your future endeavors. Matthew Chapin, your 2024 Junior Cup champ, a rising star in MotoAmerica. No telling where his career will take him.
Oh, that's awesome. It's time for the MotoAmerica AMA/FAM North American Road Race Championship, our last round of 2024. This is MotoAmerica Superbikes at New Jersey from Millville, New Jersey at NJMP. And Junior Cup race number 1 is coming up. Jason Pridmore, myself, and Hannah Lope are going to bring you the race action. And Matthew Chapin looking to finish off his championship season with a win, but he's got to get through this guy. Eli Block in inclement conditions last year did the double. Can he get it done again? We'll find out after this break.
As we were watching that video of Matthew Chapin with Hannah Lopa, Roger, when he got to the point about going to public school still at 16 years old, you nodded your head in agreement.
Yeah, I think it's good. I know everyone's different and with their schedules and stuff, but I know, I went through school and my brothers, and I know other people have, and and I'm so glad that I did today because I got friends that I've been friends with since I was in 6th grade, and I don't feel like I missed out on a normal childhood. Not saying that's the right way, but it's great to see him go to school and blend in with the other kids and play sports as well.
Riders now on their warm-up laps. Very dry track condition. We haven't had it like this for these riders yet this weekend. It's going to be a great race. Here's Greg and Jason.
MotoAmerica Junior Cup coverage is brought to you by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series.
Hey, my name is Solly Mervis. I go to Rose-Hulman Institute of Technology in Terre Haute, Indiana. I am studying a major in mechanical engineering, and I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who's there. And I'm looking forward to putting on a show this afternoon. The Junior Cup race is going to be awesome, and I can't wait to see everybody's faces when I get home, and I love you guys.
That is a watch party going on, so welcome everyone as Solly Mervis, who did not have a great qualifying position, was in 20th place is where he'll start from, but he was fast this morning in the wet was Mervis. He was P3, so we'll see what he's got for the rest of this field. But glad to have everybody watching along, and there's a good look at the 25.
Yeah, Greg, and when you talk about it, for Solly yesterday, he went out in qualifying and he tipped over in the 2nd lap, so he didn't really get to record a time that would be reminiscent of where he would normally be. Same thing for Yandel Medina. I saw him do the same thing yesterday. He was able to find his way up to 10th on the grid, which was good, but we'll see how far up Solly can get today.
Starting grid for this race looks like this: Eli Block, Avery Dreyer, and Jaden McKellar.
Yep, and then right behind them we have Ella Dreyer, Logan Cunnison, and Livy Batty. Carson King, Chapin, who we just had a great interview with, Jaden Fernandez. There's Medina that we talked about, Greg, just behind with Woodworth and Fernandez. Then we have Wolf, McKellar, Page, Betancourt. Going through these pretty quick right now. James Mervis, Tardif, as you can see, they're getting ready to start.
All right, so here we go. 13 laps scheduled for Junior Cup race number 1, and away we go. And it looks like the number 1 of Avery Dreyer got a really good launch. There's his sister, number 22, Ella Dreyer, but she's going to lead us into turn number 1. So it's Ella Dreyer on the number 22.
Man, she had some serious speed the other day. I got to the track, Greg, and I went straight over to the turn 4, 5, 6 area. Ella had some really good pace as her brother sweeps around the outside of her. We have the Dreyers running 1 and 2 now. So Avery looks pretty hungry. He's had, I would say by his standards, a pretty rotten year this year for him out on track. Not getting the results that we know that he is capable of. As you see, Eli Block tried to go down the inside there of Ella in turn 4. That door was slammed shut. But Avery, who we saw win so many races last year, has just been some bad luck on the track this year, Greg, and hasn't been able to get as many wins as I know he would have liked to have done to defend his championship.
So the number 1 Dreyer, Bad Boys Racing. All these competitors are on the Kawasaki Ninja 400. There are more motorcycles available to run in the class, but over the years, this has become the cream of the crop. So Dreyers lead the way, and Eli Block in the mix, trying to prove, Jason, that the Marcon Racing rider can win here at New Jersey Motorsports Park in the dry. But we can also see that Eli Block, searching for traction, gets a little bit sideways.
And he's got his teammate, the champ from this year, the 95, Chapin is up behind him now. So let's see if Chapin can draft his teammate down this front straightaway. He does. He makes that pass, gets himself into 3rd. So now he's going to go after the Dreyers himself.
Here comes Chapin. Boy, what a nice conversation he had with Hannah at the top of the show. A lot of poise for the 16-year-old with a bright future. But Chapin, who goes fastest lap off the blocks, is trying to work his way into 2nd place. Avery Dreyer trying to check out and put what has been an up-and-down season. That was Block off the racetrack there, Jay.
Just a little bit sketchy spot to do it. Look at Chapin again. Ella shuts that door as they go through turn 4. It's allowing her brother to escape ever so slightly. Half a second gap it was at the end of the 1st lap, but it looks like he maybe made a small mistake there, Greg, on the exit of turn number 6 there. Turn number 5 rather. And it allowed everybody to close back up. So we didn't get to see it in our shot, but he was definitely starting to pull away even more, and you can see that gap is definitely less than half a second now.
And it looked like you can see on Ella Dreyer's front tire, she looked like she started with a sticker, a brand new tire.
There you go, he's wide. So that's exactly what ended up happening. He got out wide early and got out in the dirty part of the track, ran over the curbings on the exit. But he's gathered himself back here, and you can see he's just starting to creep away ever so slightly. Now Chapin is in the draft of Ella Dreyer, and he's going to try to probably pass her down this front straightaway.
Onto the front straightaway goes the number 1. Behind the bubble, the 95, Matthew Chapin, trying to find a draft on the inside of Ella Dreyer. He's going to make that pass into turn number 1. Ella Dreyer not going to fight back this time. But Ella Dreyer has definitely shown at different times during the season, she's been on the podium, that if she has an opportunity to be aggressive on the brakes, she will take a shot. As Chapin goes fastest lap of the race, Jason, a 1:30.965 for Chapin.
That's so fast on these little bikes. And again, we're lucky that the weather is cooperating with us, because we've had some really rough weather for these riders all weekend long, and this is the best that they have seen the track all weekend.
I talked to Chapin, and he's very, very calm. Obviously, at the top of the show, he's in really high spirits, and he didn't even go out this morning. He said he's playing it safe. There was no need to get an unnecessary injury in these mixed conditions. He did have some work to do from his 8th starting position, but he knew he'd be able to make his way forward. This is his home track. Even though he doesn't have the most laps here this weekend, he's really got it figured out, and he's hoping to end the season on a high note.
Yeah, that's going to make a huge difference for Chapin, just having that confidence. Obviously, just kind of that freedom to just go do what you want after wrapping up the championship. But a 1:30.9 for the number 95 as he tries to reel in Avery Dreyer, who just went best sector 2 time for himself. But overall, Eli Block goes the fastest sector 2 time. Oh.
That's going to be, is that Cunnison? not sure. It might be Logan Cunnison that has gone down, Greg.
Yeah, the number 58 rider.
Yeah, Logan Cunnison is down. So up and okay, which is good to see. We love seeing that part of it. But for Logan, that's going to be a disappointment for him. But back at the front, Chapin, 30.5. So just a 10th quicker than the guy you see leading the way here, Avery Dreyer at the front. And a little bit further back, you can see that Ella now is starting to pull away from Eli Block as well. Yandel Medina running 5th, coming from 10th on the grid, was the number 39, so he's moving himself forward as well.
You can hear motorcycles bouncing off rev limiters. Not a lot of modifications allowed in Junior Cup. One of the biggest things you can do is suspension and gearing. But of course, without a lot of dry time, some of these riders and teams might have missed out on the proper gearing selection for this race, as it's the first time we've really had a good dry condition. Now, 130.55 for your second place rider, Matthew Chapin, your new national champion. The lap record around here on a Junior Cup bike goes back to 2021 at a 129.2, but we expect to see these lap times continue to fall.
Yeah, continue to fall, but what I want you to pay attention to when they come head on at you, look at the difference in size between Avery and Chapin. Chapin can get himself a lot smaller behind the fairings of that bike as you get in a battle here for 4th place between Eli Block and Yandel Medina. Look at these guys, Greg. They just stay tucked in all the way through that last corner, wide open. So Medina pulls out of that draft and is going to go by Eli Block down the front straightaway to take over that 4th spot. 30.2, to your point, Greg, just keeps getting lower and lower, and Chapin takes the lead as they roll off into turn 1.
Yeah, so Chapin goes 0.3 of a second quicker and is able to get the draft. So that last lap by Avery Dreyer had actually gone over start-finish line ahead of Chapin by 1/10 of a second, but that momentum that Chapin had in that draft, getting behind that bubble like you're talking about, Jason, he was able to take over that lead, and again, the fastest lap of the race for the 95.
Now we're going to see what Avery has as he looks down the inside. He's going to set Chapin up, go down the inside of him as they enter turn 5. Very popular passing spot, runs out over the curb. You can see Chapin has a long look over his shoulder, realizes that there's nobody behind him, so that's him planning his race now the rest of the way through. He sees he's got a couple of seconds over Ella at the moment, so for Chapin, you know, now he's going to be able to kind of plan the race the way he wants. Greg, we still got 9 laps to go. Long way to go still.
Yeah, definitely long way to go. But one thing that Ella Dreyer would like back there in 3rd place is for these two to start rough themselves up, and she could drag herself, Yandel Medina and Eli Block back up into the mix. The possible win in this race, but these two look to be on another level right now. And of course, Hannah mentioned at the top of the show that Matthew Chapin is your last Junior Cup champion, as we are at the penultimate race of this class as it gives way to MotoAmerica Talent Cup next season and Spec Motorcycles.
Look at behind. Medina now has gone and got past Ella Dreyer also. So Chapin had a long look over his shoulder. As you see, Ella thought about having a dive down the inside. Didn't quite get that chance to do that, but Chapin had a good long look over his shoulder when he came out of the last corner just to see where everybody was.
They didn't go faster, so it's the first lap since they started that they haven't gone faster than the lap before. 131.1 for Dreyer, 131.0 for Chapin, and they had been going 130.2, so the pace has dropped slightly.
Yeah, and I think that when you start to think about what you just said there, Greg, with the pace, Dreyer up front pushing his own win, and I think Chapin just thinks now maybe he's just going to be patient and just let a few more laps run down before he takes another shot at Dreyer. He'll probably try the drafting down the front straight to see if he could beat Dreyer to the line, but for now I just feel like he's sitting there looking. Another rider down, Greg, here. Not sure of the number. Number 15 we're hearing is Jaden McKellar. So Jaden McKellar down, was running inside the top 10. So leaders back at the front. Get a good look at these two guys. Here we go. A little bit further back. Here's the 15. He goes into turn 5, a little bit tight. You can see that front starting to tuck underneath, Greg, and down he goes. He was in a battle there with Ryan Wolf and Libby Batty. So here we go, back at the front. Dreyer still leading the way. Minute 30.4. He did his fastest lap of the race.
Junior Cup race action between the number 1 and the number 95 as Dreyer leads Chapin, Yandel Medina in 3rd place, Ella Dreyer and Eli Block in 5th. Back we go up front. Dreyer trying to hold off the advances of Chapin. And boy, this is turning into quite a race, but we just found out, unfortunately, for the number 95, he's been assessed with a 5-second jump start penalty. So for Matthew Chapin, with that 5-second penalty added, he's second on the racetrack, but he's relegated to 5th in the running order. So currently it's Dreyer with Medina in second, Ella Dreyer in third, Eli Block in fourth, and Chapin in 5th place. So there was 3 jump start penalties, Jason, for the 15, the 23, and more consequently, as we're watching it, the number 95.
Yeah, and you look at it though, Greg, if he can pull out that 5-second gap to the battle for third, that's what we're going to keep a lookout on right now, because you can see Dreyer and Chapin out front right now have about 3.5 seconds over this big battle between Medina, Ella Dreyer, and Eli Block. So they've got quite a big lead. If he can continue to pull away, get that 5-second gap, he will get back to that second spot again. But right now, Dreyer does have a 4.7 second lead over the group behind him. So really, Chapin's got to gain right now about maybe 3/4 of a second, and he'll be in a good spot.
Yeah, so for Chapin, he just goes sector 1, fastest sector, a 24.2. So the situation is exactly what you're saying, Jason. So right now, Avery Dreyer and Matthew Chapin are locked into a battle up front. But this battle behind is within 4.7 seconds. So they're going to have to drift backward over 5 seconds. But the problem is, if Matthew Chapin had any chance of winning this race, he would have to beat Avery Dreyer by 5.001 seconds in order to get that done. Yeah. So in essence, these riders may not know with 5.5 laps to go that this is right now a massive battle for the final 2 spots on the podium.
Well, I think it will end up being a battle for 1 spot myself.
Yeah,
that said, the heartache now is that getting that message to the riders themselves. I'm sure the riders have talked with their crews possibly about, if I jump the start, put something on the board, let me know, whatever the case is. Because if Chapin does end up going by Dreyer and Dreyer doesn't know he still has a 5-second lead to the front, he might try to make a pass in the last couple of laps and put himself in a spot where he doesn't need to. Now, this gap is just continuing to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Let's see what it is now, Greg. So Chapin is back in second place officially. He's 5.3 seconds back because he's 3/10 off of the guy that you see, but they have now pulled over 5 seconds away from this battle for third.
Yeah, I wonder if you're the crew, if you hadn't talked it over with Chapin, now that he's back into second place, do you hang the pit board out and basically put down there, you are 5.3 seconds behind, even though you're looking right at the tailpipe of your competitor? Either way, Avery Dreyer continues to lead now with a 5.3 second gap in timing and scoring over Matthew Chapin. And Dreyer's the other person. Does he need to know that as well?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's the biggest thing, is if Dreyer doesn't know and Matthew goes by, he might try to set him up for a last lap pass that he doesn't really need to make.
So the 35 is Yandel Medina, or 39, sorry, the Yandel Medina on the 39, holding off Ella Dreyer. Ella Dreyer may be at the point 2 of this race, hanging on, saying, okay, look, I can't get away from these other riders around me. Let's go ahead and wait till the last lap, but Eli Block might have something else to say about it.
Really nice recovery from Eli too, because he got caught by those 2 behind him, and you know, he was able to kind of get on the back, and he still has himself in there with a solid fight for that 3rd place position. When they come by this time, Greg, it's going to be 4 laps to go, and you can kind of see what I mean about the size difference between these 2. Look at Chapin and how much he's able to get into the draft of Dreyer, but Greg, he's not trying to pass. He is just trying to set something up for the last lap, I can tell from here. And whether these guys know that there was any kind of penalty or not, I don't know.
Here at New Jersey Motorsports Park, there's just under 4 laps to go in Junior Cup race number 1. And Avery Dreyer continues to lead the number 1 over the 95 of Chapin, your new number 1 plate. But there's been a jump start penalty. Jay, take a look, left part of your screen.
Yeah, you're going to see just back there the movement from Chapin. He's in the middle, I believe he's in the middle of that 3rd row, Greg. And there must have just been a little bit of movement. Let's see, we'll get looks like the front row there. So we're not going to actually see Chapin in that spot. So
yeah, and that was assessed to the 15, the 23, and the 95. So Jaden McKellar was one of the riders that started towards the front.
And he already fell. We saw Jaden fall over, unfortunately.
Exactly. And then Derek Sanchez, also on the NV Racing apparel machine, he's got a jump start. But currently, it's 5.1 seconds now that Chapin is behind Avery Dreyer in timing and scoring. And Medina, Dreyer, and Block are now another 2.5 seconds behind. So second place looks to be assured for Matthew Chapin if he even understands the situation. As we come to the line, it's going to be 3 to go for the 1 and the 95. So down into turn 1 they go in Junior Cup race number 1. And the situation is, if Matthew Chapin even understands it, if he's got anything left in the tank in terms of speed, is he's going to have to get by Dreyer and then try to gap him by just over 5 seconds in order to win this race. But Medina, Dreyer, Ella Dreyer, Eli Block back there in 5th, Fernandez, Batty, King, Wolf, Woodworth, and Solly Mervis up to 11th place. You can see the left part of your screen, up to 11th place from 20th. So Mervis having a good run at it, doing 1:32.8. Very competitive lap times for the rider we heard from at the top of the show. Very interesting situation, Jason, with rule changes over the years. You know, if you know about this situation, how would you think you would handle it? If you knew, if you were Matthew Chapin and Avery Dreyer, that the rider behind you, or that you as the rider have a 5-second penalty? Well,
every racer wants to win on the track, right? So Avery wants to win this race regardless. I think that he would say that out loud as well as they get ready to see the 2-lap. It's going to be 2 laps to go when they come through this time for Chapin. And again, we just don't know what they know, if they know, or anything, because Chapin right now has got a run on Avery Dreyer. He's going to take the lead as they come across for the white flag, or that was the blue flag I saw for the rider in front there. The 98 got the blue flag, but for Chapin, he takes the lead. Now for Dreyer, he doesn't realize that he still has a 4.9 second lead. I think Chapin probably knows that he can't pull 5 seconds out on that rider either. So for Chapin, you see they got a little bit in the battle for that position there. The lapper kind of got in the way a little bit of Chapin, and Dreyer goes through.
There's a look at Mervis on the right side. Of course, he and his watch party as the young man, an engineering student in his freshman year at 20 years old, out on the racetrack, taking a couple days off from school in order to get this done, and his school pulling for him. But with Chapin taking over the lead for the moment, and now Avery Dreyer gets by him. So my guess is they don't really know what's going on in terms of the penalties at this point.
Yeah, we had just a little bit of traffic getting in, not necessarily in the way, but Chapin went one way or Avery went the other coming out of turn 2 there, and he was able to get through. And but these guys are probably thinking that they're battling for the win still by the way they are racing. You can see Dreyer kind of looking over to the right there. And I think both these guys know that there's the capabilities of drafting before the start-finish line. Yeah. And the other thing too, Greg, is the blue flag that was out just now at start-finish line sometimes can look lighter. So just got to hope that neither one of them mistake that for the white flag. And now the white flag will start to get waved as they come down this front straightaway. They're going to see the white flag last lap through.
Yeah,
Chapin gets through.
Yeah, Chapin gets through, and over the line, Chapin got to 4.997s. So if that was the run to the flag without the 5-second penalty, Chapin would have won it. But now with the lap to go, there is very little chance that Chapin is going to have a 5-second lead. But this is what racing's for. Anything can happen. So final lap of the race, Avery Dreyer, the number 1, actually leads in timing and scoring with a 5-second penalty assessed to the 95 of Matthew Chapin. So he's trying desperately on this final lap to get a 5-second gap, and all Dreyer has to do is hang out, but he's not content to do that because Dreyer wants to win on the racetrack. After an up and down season, Avery Dreyer has got the bit between his teeth.
Yeah, he does, and like you say, Greg, he wants to win this race no matter what. I'm sure even if he knew that there was a penalty, but he's got a huge lead right now as they're going to be putting another rider a lap down as they come in. This is going to be a good spot for Avery to try to go past somebody, especially on this last lap. Probably going to have to roll around the outside. Let's see what happens here. It goes down. Yeah, it's going to be close here. Yeah, it goes down the inside. So they both make it through cleanly. And now Dreyer's going to be worried about getting drafted to the line. and not really know that it's for the victory. So Chapin's going to set himself up perfectly as they go through this last corner. They're both tucked in. Chapin almost is too close, but he's going to pull out of the draft. Let's see who gets it.
All right, so a race to the line as it comes down to it, and it's going to be Avery Dreyer who takes victory, but Matthew Chapin came across the line first, so it's going to be the first one as the battle for third place. As we go to the line, it's going to be Medina, and this is your battle for fourth between Ella Dreyer and Eli Block. So it's going to be Dreyer, Chapin in second place, Medina, Dreyer, Eli Block, and Jaden Fernandez with Levy Batty in seventh place. Woodworth, Carson King, Ryan Wolf, and Mervis able to go from 20th to 11th place and was just behind a battle in front of him for the top 10. But all about this guy, Avery Dreyer. A huge up and down season. And Jason Pridmore, after getting that #1 plate last year, doing such an outstanding job. His race pace left part of your screen, his first win of the season. Chapin has 6, Medina's got 1, Cunnison has 2, Levy Batty has 1. So for Avery Dreyer, the drama of the season, the heartbreak of his father passing away, he's able to notch victory here at New Jersey Motorsports Park. And congratulations from Chapin. We'll talk to him when we get back to New Jersey Motorsports Park after Junior Cup race #1.
Being able to overcome so many things this season for Avery Dreyer going into the off season. Still one race remaining, but ending the season with a win, Roger, it's so important.
Yeah, and it's special for him. You know, everybody knows that what he's went through this year, losing his father and be able to come here. And not only that, he's had an up and down year racing as well. He's had some crashes. You go back to Mid-Ohio, crashed a couple times there. And even on the Twins Cup bike, started out really strong, podium at Daytona, and then kind of struggled from there on. So it's great to see Avery able to come here and show people why he has that #1 plate and able to finish the year strong. And I just give him a lot of credit for keeping his head up and keeping that confidence in himself to keep going.
You mentioned that #1 plate. He came into this season as the defending Junior Cup champion. We know that Matthew Chapin has already been able to lock up that title before getting here to New Jersey Motorsports Park for the final race. Other champions that we have crowned this weekend, Josh Herron wrapping up that Steel Commander Superbike title, and then Matthew Skoltz in Supersport.
Yeah, and those two put together a great year, but I think everybody's going to have their eyes on the king of the baggers tomorrow, as that title is only separated by 2 points.
Can see consistency is what gets those championship titles. All of these riders being able to be on the podium all throughout the season. Bellissimoto Twins Cup champion Alessandro DeMario. You've got Corey West in Mission Super Hooligans, and then Michaela Moore being able to wrap up her second title in the Royal Enfield Build Train Race program.
Yeah, and you just look at it, you know, 9 podiums, 7 podiums, and all the wins that they've had. We got the baggers, and then also Stock 1000 is going to come down to tomorrow, but you said it, it's the consistency. 9 podiums, 7 podiums. You see what that does as points, and just all adds up.
2 titles are still on the line as we've wrapped up our racing here today at New Jersey Motorsports Park. A full day still ahead of us tomorrow for our full day Sunday coverage on MotoAmerica Live Plus. We will start that off with the warm-ups coverage at 9:35 local time. Those 2 titles that are still up for grab, of course, Stock 1000 and Mission King of the Baggers. See Matthew Chapin there celebrating another podium result, but Avery Dreyer getting the win. Can't wait to hear from him when we are able to get down there with Hannah. You can see the emotion.
Yeah, just is great. You can see it on both sides. You can see the disappointment on Matt. That's something he can learn from there, jumping the start. But Avery just led the whole race. You could see the confidence, just wanted to be in the front, and he showed it all weekend. He was quick yesterday, qualified on the front row, and he's able to turn that front row into a win.
Still one more opportunity to go for Avery Dreyer this weekend. There's Yandel Medina. We saw the focus on his face when he was out on the grid, and nothing but smiles now down in the podium area. Hannah Lopa will be down there in just a moment, so we'll get ready to hear from them and send it back over to Greg White and Jason Pridmore.
MotoAmerica Junior Cup coverage is brought to you by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series.
Here was the photo finish that didn't really mean anything, but you can see that for Chapin, that would have been like a .033, I think, or an .034 margin of victory. A good run, but we'll have to see how that all plays out. But for Avery Dreyer, it's a big win. Chapin is going to end up finishing with the 5-second jump start penalty. Chapin will end up finishing 4.966 seconds behind. And then you have Yandel Medina. Let's get right down to Hannah with our winner.
First win of the season for the defending champ. And Avery, you told me earlier you wanted to really end this season on a high note. How good does this feel right now?
Yeah, I mean, this is as good as it gets. Going into the race, I didn't know how good the grip was going to be because, to be honest, this was our first dry session. So, I just wanted to get out front, lead as much as I could, try to manage the pace. I was in the low 30s most of the time. I kept losing my brakes. I wasn't sure what was going on. So, I was just trying to be careful and, stay in the low 30s to try to manage the pace out front. And I got to give a huge shout out to John, Dale, my brother Brady, Darwin, everyone out here who's supporting me. And I want to dedicate this one to my dad. I know he's watching me from up above. So yeah, this one was for him.
Congratulations to Avery Dreyer, guys.
Yeah, and it's good to see his face back on the top step of the podium. Able to get that done at the end of the season. Let's get down to Hannah with our second place finisher.
And your newly crowned Junior Cup champ taking the second spot. Take us through that. When did you find out, about the jump start podium? Was that something you were thinking about while you were battling out there, or you didn't know until the end of the race?
I didn't know until I got into the pits. So Avery was ripping. I got to give it to him. He rode a great race, and he really earned that one. I kind of just wanted to sit behind him and use the draft to the line. But with the 5-second penalty, it wasn't possible. But no, it was a good race. I want to give a huge thanks to Colin Barton and Mike at Triple Strong Racing for everything they've done for me. KYT, Bison, Woodcraft, Blood Lubricants, everybody else. Thank you, guys.
Congrats, guys.
Outstanding run for Matthew Chapin. Able to get second place after that penalty and the championship standings. Obviously, we know the 95 is going to be the #1 after this, but he wins. Medina, Cunnison in that order. Well, that'll do it for us. We'll see you next time. For Hannah and Jason, great race in Junior Cup. Can't wait to get it done one more time.